British team conquers Everest. Reuters, June 2, 1953. Kathmandu, Nepal. The British expedition has conquered Mount Everest. A radio message flashed from Namche Bazaar to the British embassy here said today. The message said Edmund Hillary, a New Zealand beekeeper and mountaineer, and Tenzing Norgay, the famous Sherpa guide, had reached the hitherto unscaled summit from Camp 8 last Friday. The news of this success had to be rushed by runner from the British expedition's base camp on Khumbu Glacier to the radio post at Namche Bazaar. It is understood here that this was the expedition's third attack on the last slopes leading to the summit, a first double attempt having failed. Experts here said the success was largely due to the fine weather, combined with properly acclimatized climbers and the excellent organization and leadership of Colonel C.J. Full details of the exploit are not expected to reach here for some days. It is believed that the news was transmitted specially to London by diplomatic channels, so Queen Elizabeth could be told. The Times of London reported the news of the scaling of Mount Everest in a copyrighted message today. The news was published in a special edition of the Times on early sale among coronation crowds in London. Queen Elizabeth, resting at Buckingham Palace, was told on the eve of her coronation that the British expedition had conquered the mountain. The news was brought to her as she spent a quiet evening at home. The British climbers had succeeded in their plan to give her a world-shaking coronation present. Mount Everest, the 29,002-foot giant, was the last main outpost of the world unknown to man. The 13 members of the expedition formed the 11th team to try to conquer the mountain in the past 30 years. Many climbers have died in the high ice and snow of the Himalayan giant. The Sherpa guide, Tenzing Norgay, is a 42-year-old native veteran of more assaults on Mount Everest than any other man. With 362 porters, 20 Sherpa guides, and 10,000 pounds of baggage, the expedition left the Nepalese base of Kathmandu on March 10th. Thus, it took 80 days from start to finish. The climbers carried 3 flags: the Union Jack, the United Nations flag, and the Nepalese flag, to plant on the summit. They made an approach to the goddess mother of the snows from the southern Nepalese side. It was the route reconnoitered by Sir Eric Shipton, who led a British expedition in 1951, and it was the approach by which the Swiss so nearly succeeded last year. All previous parties had started from the Tibetan side, now closed to explorers since the Chinese communists have moved in. Mount Everest is guarded by the treacherous glaciers and ice falls of the hollow western CWM glacier, which forms a huge punch bowl between Everest itself and its southern sentinels. Lhotse, at 27,890 feet, to the southeast, and Nuptse, at 25,680 feet, to the southwest. The southern face is high above the western CWM glacier, between Lhotse and the main mass of Everest. To reach it, the party traversed stretches of dangerous ice and bad snow, under which crevasses are liable to open up suddenly into chasms of fearful depth. On their way up these massifs of ice, rock, and snow, the hunt party carried a new kind of avalanche gun, resembling a 2-inch mortar, to dislodge loose and dangerous snow which might start avalanches in their path. The victorious Hillary, who is a 34-year-old New Zealand beekeeper, joined the expedition in India. He has had wide climbing experience in the New Zealand Alps, where heavy snowfalls and peculiar icefalls make conditions not unlike those in the Himalayas. Tenzing made an epic ascent last year with the Swiss climber Raymond Lambert, reaching the previous record height of 28,215 feet. George Band, the youngest of the party, at 24 years, was chosen with Tenzing to make the first unsuccessful assault. He is a Cambridge geologist and president of the University Mountaineering Club. The expedition was his first Himalayan experience. The party planned on reaching the summit to look for traces of George Lee Mallory and Andrew Irvine, who vanished near the top 30 years ago. It has never been known whether the two Britons ever conquered the mountain or fell to their deaths before they reached the summit. It was expected the British achievement would help to solve at least one long-standing problem about Mount Everest: its actual height. Survey of India maps give it at 29,002 feet, but claims have been made that it is higher than that. The Swiss last year estimated it to be 29,610 feet. American and some other maps give it as 29,149 and 29,141 feet. In any case, it is said to be the highest mountain on the surface of the Earth.